Mostly in school, it's about teachers and everyone wanting you to do perfectly, and in your family is mostly to do by some standards. Let's say they want you to have perfect grades, to be more outgoing or something like that, but everyone is different and you can't want someone to live a certain way.
Hmm. Uh, do do you feel it more in school or in your family?
Honestly, I feel it more in my family.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
In the way that you were saying, like to follow a certain kind of profession or to
Yeah.
act according to certain uh, ethic behavior or something like that.
Well, let's say my grandparents are more religious, we're
Mm-hmm.
Christians, and my parents are actually really strict. My father is strict, but my mother not as much. She wants me to be more artistic, let's say, and my father actually wanted me to go to a math school.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's totally, that's like the two totally opposites.
Yeah, exactly.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, but at the end, I told him I don't want to go, even though I'm actually good at math, and I started learning drama.
So you went a bit to what you felt.
Yeah, honestly, and if I have to be honest, here in Bulgaria, you give your documents to certain schools, and sometimes at some schools they don't accept you. And my fear was that I only gave my documents to this drama school, and if they didn't accept me, I don't know what I was going to do actually.
Well, you would figure out something for sure
Yeah,
after, but it
exactly.
was supposed to it was to happen,
It
and it
happened.
happened. That's really good. Kinga, what about you? Have you ever felt this pressure of society in your life, and in which context do you, if you ever felt it? What was the context where you felt it more? In your family, in your job, in school? Which kind of context?
Well, if I have to stick to the subject of choosing what you want to do and what you want to do in the future, like which subject, I when I finished high school, I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life, so I started the university because people told me that it was the right way of living. Like you finish high school, you graduate, and then you start university. And then I stopped because I felt like that was not what I wanted to do. And then I faced a lot of negative comments like, you cannot stop. You started something, now you have to finish, and now you need to continue on what you started and then change after. And I saw no point in that. And so yeah, I kind of like faced a lot of these kind of comments regarding my studies. And even now, like I'm in the middle of changing my subjects because I felt like the system is not working how it should work, and I don't want to be a part of that system. And now I even now I'm facing like this is the last chance that I have. Like I'm really close to losing the support of my family in this matter.
Exactly as you were saying about this last part, leads me to the question that I wanted to ask as you were talking. How people react when we uh, make a decision that it's not on the path that they are expecting us to go. As you're saying, this is your last chance, and then you maybe lose the support. Do do you think you would lose the support?
No, I don't think so, but I would really surely piss off a lot of relatives.
Yes, I also relate with this thing. In Portugal, this happens a lot. Uh, a lot of young students go to university uh, because there is this kind of pressure that if you don't go to university, you will not be no one, or you will not have a good job, or something like that. And a lot of people go to university, and sometimes they start studies in subjects that they don't even like. It's just to say that they have a degree, and then they don't have a job in the end also, or they had to change after. So I think it's yes, it's important that you study, that so that you can find some work, um, but it's also important to give some freedom to the person make their own decisions and take their time.
Yeah, exactly. I want to comment on this. So I have many friends because after seventh grade here you have to choose like a professional school, baking, musical schools, but mostly people go to some of these, let's say, math schools. They think it's more prestigious, but to be honest, I don't think they do it because they want it. They just feel like they have to go. And I had this friend, she was going to be with me actually in the drama class,
Hmm.
but I think her parents pressured her and she chose to go to a language school. And she never came to my class.
And do you still keep contact with her?
Yeah, we actually live like 5 minutes from each other.
Okay, and she's happy with this choice.
Well, I think now she's happy because she found some friends, and I've also met her friends. They're really nice people. And at the end, it's important that she's happy now.
Yeah, that's good that she's happy because otherwise maybe she should change again and go
Yeah.
to something that she really likes. And well, in this case, as we are talking more about the family pressure, family is something that I think even if we act in a way that they don't like that much, the support it's more easy to keep. Of course, there are always different examples, and sometimes they don't keep the support. But talking about peers as friends in school
Yeah.
or in work or as our colleagues, maybe this issue is a bit different because the relations are also not so close as family. Have you ever felt this pressure with the friends, Nadia?
Yes, if I have to be honest, because people are different and some friends are more pressuring than others. Like, let's say I was doing this one thing and I was unsure of it. And one girl said to me, "Stop being so unsure because we don't have much time with each other." And I actually didn't get it. I asked her, "What do you mean?" And then she went, "Well, we'll graduate school and then we don't see each other more." And I was like, "Why? You can still keep in touch with me. I won't forget you." And then she went silent.
Oh, okay. In a sense of pressuring you to do something now,
Yeah.
because if you don't, maybe you will not keep this friendship.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay. That's interesting, and it reminds me of a question that one of our listeners sent to us about. He was asking us to put this question on the discussion about if he was thinking on going to another country or
Yeah.
as the same as would be now you going to study in another city, uh, how would he uh, do something to make sure that he would not lose his friends and lose the contact, or how could people accept that he would change, make such a big change in his life, and he was a bit in the sense of how can we face the fear of losing our friends.
Well, I have many friends that actually moved out of Bulgaria because economics here aren't the best, let's be honest. And when they move, actually, some of them stopped the connection because we were texting, but they get busy with school, with stuff, new friends, new relationships, and they just stop contacting their old friends. But I actually have quite a lot of friends that moved to other countries and we're still talking. And many times I actually meet people from other countries this way because my friends introduced them to me.
Hmm. Exactly. I think nowadays with the technology, it's not that difficult to keep in contact. And
Yeah,
if they are really your friends and if you really enjoy talking with them, you can totally keep in contact and
exactly.
maintain the friendships. Well, I'm here in Bulgaria and my friends are not here. I have new friends now, but of course, my long-term friends, we still speak almost every day, and we keep in contact because it's with the technologies now, it's way easier. Uh, Kinga, how about you? Have you ever felt this pressure of in your friends group to do something that maybe you were not that comfortable to do, and or something like that?
Well, it's an interesting question, but I think that for me, my friends, I always choose by the people that they won't judge me for who I am. So if I say no or if I say yes to something, they won't think, oh, I'm lesser of a person because of that. But I think that it's just my case, because in my case I didn't feel this pressure of collecting friends that a lot of people do nowadays. Just they need to have a number, an amount of people around them in order to feel good, and I didn't have this pressure, and so I could easily choose, like, okay, I have one friend and I'm okay with that. And that one friend was truly a friend. It was not someone who was just around me because of these social reasons.
Actually, I relate to you because I don't feel the need to find new friends. At some point, you just become close with some people that understand you. When I went to the new school, I was so nervous because I actually knew some people, but they're older, and I didn't know people that were going to be in my class. And I met this boy. He is really nice. He's like my best friend now, and we understand each other so well. Like we never even fight because to me, everyone says, "Oh, even best friends fight." Well, when you understand each other, there's no need to fight over things.
Yeah, you can discuss and
Yeah,
have different opinions, like I'm always doing with Kinga, but that doesn't mean that you're fighting, of course. Yeah, that's
yeah.
totally true. It's all about communication. We have another question here from Krasimira, and I will share it with you. Should it feel like a pressure if your parents or friends try to give you advice about what would be best for you?
Oh, about this. So many people don't understand. If you're not asking for advice or for opinion, they can still give it to you, but they shouldn't pressure you to like be, oh, you should do this. It would totally be better for you. The person should decide for themselves. And if I have to be honest, when you give advice to someone, remember to say, but do what you think is right.
Yeah, I totally agree with what you're saying, because I think it's okay. We need to be very careful when
Yeah,
we are giving advice, even when we
yeah,
are friends, because people are different, and some people they have enough self confidence to understand. Okay, this is an advice. It's the other person's opinion, but maybe what I want is not exactly this, and so I can follow this path or take the advice. But sometimes people don't have a lot of confidence, and just because the other person advised them to do this, they will do it,
yeah,
and maybe they can regret later,
yeah.
or something like that. So I agree with you. I think we can give advice, but make sure that the other person understands that it's just your opinion.
Actually, we have a saying for this in Hungarian. Like, if someone is really unsure of what they want to do and they blindly follow someone, just whether it's advice or not advice, or they are just playing with them, or if it's because of the naivety of the person, we say that would you like you would jump in a well if that person told you to do so.
We actually have something similar. When you just things that others say to you, I've heard a lot of elders say, if this person tells you to jump off a roof, will you do it?
Yeah, we have something like that also in Portugal. So I think it's the knowledge that comes with history.
So maybe this issue is international and, and not restricted
Yeah.
to certain zones.
Yeah, I think so, and it comes from a long time ago, because these sayings are always old knowledge that comes. Yeah, but it's interesting about the advice. This reminds me of another question. Um, uh, when to find the balance between caring about others people opinion and being influenced by them, because as Krasi was saying in the question, the friends or the family, they just want to try to give you advice on what is the best for you. So when they are sharing their opinion, they try to give you this advice because they care about you. So how can we understand this? How can we find the balance between caring about the other person's opinion or being influenced by the other person's opinion? How do we know if we are being influenced or we are just caring about the other person's opinion?
It's really hard to know when it depends on the topic. Like if it's something that you feel really passionate about, you are less likely to consider it as advice and more likely to consider it as a way of trying for them to change you. But in other situations, if you feel like, oh, I don't really care about this topic, I will just ask this person or if that person just gives advice, it's really like if you don't care about the outcome, if you don't really, your heart is not into it, you might feel that that person is influencing, and you might actually be more prone to do exactly what they are telling you. So I think it depends on the topic.
And it also depends on how the person will get it. For me, that balance is when you listen to their opinion, but also think it out through, because it's important. And for me, I always think about the outcome and what could happen. And it's important to know that there are some consequences. So you better take the decision you think is right, but it won't harm you to listen to others' opinions if you ask for them.
Yeah, I think it's a tricky question because it has a lot of factors into it. The person, also if it's something more important or not. Sometimes it's just sometimes you're just trying to find out where to go to have lunch or something like that in a group, right? And
Yeah.
some people say, oh, come on, let's go for this fast food, or let's go for something else. And if it's something that for you it's okay between one or another, maybe you follow uh, this group or this opinion. Um, but if it's something more important, for sure, it's important for you
Yeah.
to reflect on it.
But also, like you need to keep, like, even if it's not about giving advice or just certain topics and decision making, sometimes you just need to have like at least a small amount of influence or need to let yourself get that influence get to you. Like it's kind of a comment of how the world sees you, and if you totally ignore these comments, you might go in a way that you don't want to go.
Yeah.
So I think the question was more about like the balance of how much you should let others influence you, because I feel personally that it's a good way. If it's someone that matters, it's a good thing that you get this feedback from them, like, oh, you shouldn't do that. Maybe you will still do that and you
Yeah.
feel like doing it, but why would that person say that you shouldn't? So it's more like about getting to know yourself by others.
Yes, reflecting on this advice. Yes, that's true. Because otherwise we isolate totally from also our surroundings, and communication. It's about sharing. So I think it's important to also listen and take that into account. We have another very interesting question from our listener Juan. Um, and it is, do you think that social media are pushing you to seek an idyllic or perfect life, as many influence people show? How is the role of social media nowadays? And even you see in TV and ads, we talk about this in a show before. Uh, how do you think that there is some pressure also on social media to make us follow this certain life that is very perfect that we see?
Yeah, I see a lot of young people, let's say they're 20 something, and they're so successful. There's also teenagers that are so successful already, and I go through their Instagram. They always have perfect photos and everything. And there's this one girl. She's like 15, I think, or 17. I don't remember. And she already has a career. And when I look at her, I think, oh my gosh, I still ask my mom what I should wear. And I really don't know how they do it. And sometimes I become a little bit upset because when I think about it, I ask myself, can I also do this? And I think it's not that important to always look at others because you have your own life.
Yes, and also like social media has this really sometimes good, sometimes bad filter
Yeah.
on your life. Like, I know one example when it's a couple and they recently had a child, and always have this really discussions and heated arguments about putting pictures of the child
Yeah.
on social media, because that's, I think, really not a really good influence to show like every single thing that your child does is not really important for people to see, but it's like losing the personality
Yeah,
by
I
that.
find it weird. I saw on Facebook there's this woman, like, I think she was pregnant, and every single day she's posting about it, talking about it, and when her baby was delivered, she even posted about it and then showed photos of like the flowers they gave her or something. And for me, it's a little bit creepy because you should pay more attention to what's important to your child, not spend it on
Yes,
Facebook.
and also like in this case, it was like they are married couple, and they had a lot of really serious issues within their marriage. And on Facebook, you could only see like this perfect life. They are going on hiking tours with the kid. They are going, I don't know, camping. They are going here. They are going there. It was so perfect, so beautiful. But in like I knew them, and I know that they had a lot of issues, and they didn't live a happy life. It was just a show for the social media.
Yeah, like there's a lot of these couples you see on TV. Oh, they're so perfect, they're rich, they're this and that, and then you discover they're like part of some cult or something.
Yeah, this I think social media would be a good topic for a show, and we would have a lot to talk on that. And the influences of social media. But Nadia, you were saying about something very interesting. That is, as you were seeing this person
Yeah.
with this age, and she already has a super successful life, you would feel this pressure to, oh my god, I don't know yet what I want to do, or at my should I at this age already have a career or something like that. And I think sometimes there is this pressure when we see other people on TV or on magazines, or even someone it even happens in the community. If you have someone that was successful in some way, at least in the villages, I feel that a lot. Oh, this person, he already has a job and he already has a house and he can manage his family, and you at your age, I don't know, you're still volunteering and going around and stuff like that. I think this leads me to a question that is about this pressure of identity and to know who we are. Do we really need to know who we are?
For me, no, because it's more exciting to find new parts of your personality, of your identity. Because if you know who you are, what's the point? I don't see the point because you go somewhere and they ask you a question and you're like, oh, yeah, I'm this and that, and you start saying what you are. And to me, it's more interesting when you find more information about another person because this way you have many funny moments with them.
Yes, it's a really interesting question. Like, do we need to know what or how? These are always questions that I find the most interesting. Like why do we need to know? I think the why is much more important than the what.
Yeah,
Like you will find out eventually who you are. You will
true.
just it's like a puzzle, and you can put puzzle pieces in, and sometimes you find a puzzle piece that doesn't fit in your life, and then you see that it's something that you don't need in
Yeah,
there. It's like
exactly.
as Emmanuel Silva commented in our in our radio's page. Like it's more about instinct, like following what you are and
Yeah.
how you feel, what you feel is good for you, and not knowing like exactly what label to put on you and exactly who you are, because that's always changing.
Yeah, and when you put a label on yourself, you're kind of limiting yourself. So if someone asks you something about you, you can just say, "Oh, I'm myself," and that's actually pretty much it.
Yeah, I totally agree what you said. It's for me, it's the same thing. It's about y- it's important that you know how you feel in certain situations. Okay, I don't like this. I did this, but how did I felt? Did I feel good? Did I feel bad? Do I like to do this? What I like to do? What I don't like to do? Do I feel good in this place? I don't. And from this, you build your personality
Yeah,
and your characteristics. And labels, as you said, Nadia, and very well, they always limit us.
yeah,
And sometimes even worse, because they come with some generalizations, with some preconceptions, and it's even worse.
And when someone else puts you in a label that you don't
that's just
associate
awful.
with, yeah.
Exactly. Well, that could lead to bullying, and a lot of other issues that are related also
Yeah,
with peer pressure. Um, and I don't know. I lived through that on on school when I was younger, and I think a lot of young people still live through these situations.
the problem is actually that bullying now is something like you have in your head and you do it without realizing. Like I have these friends that they say it as a joke, but sometimes I don't take it as a joke because it's important. And when they say something about someone else, I just tell them, stop it. Just don't do it.
Yeah, because if it's with a negative effect, even if you're joking, the
Yeah,
negativity is there still, and
true.
the other person feels it, and uh, we need to be careful with that. But giving a very simple example of peer pressure. Uh, when we are young and we go out and we have a group of friends and everyone wants to drink alcohol, and there is someone in the group that doesn't like to.
That's me all the time.
So good, we have a good example here. And how do your colleagues react when you say no?
Well, I was with these people. I met them recently. They're not like that close to me, but there is one friend that's close to me within this group. And so when they started smoking, and they asked me if I smoke too, and I said no. And one of them said, "Won't you smoke?" And I said no. And this other girl said, "Just don't pressure her." And to me, that's actually very important because not many people understand what the word no means nowadays. You just say no because you don't want it, not because you're playing some kind of game.
Yes, exactly. And it's important to say no,
Yeah,
because sometimes if you say no, I just don't want to do it, or no, I tried it before and I don't like it, something like that, or I just don't want to try because I don't want to. It's
yeah,
I'm not obliged to experiment everything that exists in the world. If I tell, oh yeah, let's eat some grass from the garden, come on, I don't want to. So it's the same with tobacco or alcohol or whatever. Um,
Yeah, I'm on kind of a bad side of this story because I'm always offering stuff. But it's just in my nature to offer stuff. Even if you said no before, I wouldn't remember because I just offer you, and I feel like that can be an issue. But I understand when people say no, and I'm like, oh, okay, sorry for asking.
yeah, that's the important part.
exactly. I think it's important for people to understand that it's not a problem to say no, because at least from what I see around me, uh, normally the groups accept it. It's like, oh,
Yeah,
okay, it's your choice. it's fine. We do it like this, you do it like that. It's okay. Maybe I don't know if you feel the same, Nadia, because you're younger, and I don't know if the groups that you see in school, if you feel that if the person rejects or is not with the feeling of the group, if they accept it or not.
To me, the groups I choose to be in are pretty accepting because I don't want to be around people that pressure me, if I can say it this way.
I think that's the thing. If the group doesn't accept it and they reject it, maybe they are not your
Yeah.
friends, right? And maybe you don't want to be surrounded by people that don't allow you to be who you are or to feel good.
Yes, but when you're at a time in your life when you're really insecure, there's a lot of biological changes going on in your body. You just have no idea what to do. You change from this school to that, all new friends, all new people. It's like a really vulnerable time, and sometimes you don't have this clarity of mind to know who are actually friends and who are just people to be around.
Yeah, and it's mainly because it happens very fast. And if I do something and then I go home and before I fall asleep, I think about it and I'm like, just why?
Yes.
Yes, the regret is always the best. Like you go to sleep and before falling asleep, you all these things that you've done and you regret just flash through your eyes. Like, why am I thinking about this? Like, come on, it's in the past. You need to let go. Okay, I was a shit person then, but now I'm changed. I can see that how my ways were wrong and how what I did was not what I was. So it's just something to build yourself on, to accept these things that everyone does mistakes.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Everyone does mistakes, and as we were saying before, we are always changing, always. So it's okay. And actually, when we feel this at at night, it's it's a good opportunity to learn with it, right? And
Yeah.
to that's why it's so important that we reflect on how did I felt in this situation? Do I like this or not? I don't want to do this again. So maybe I will try to do something else. Maybe I will try to go to a different activity where I can find people that are more into my mindset, and maybe I can find some other friends there that will support me. As you were saying, this friend of yours, oh no, don't pressure her.
Yeah.
So. And I don't know if you are in this age, more like a teenager, and you feel that oh my God, this is so bad, and I will never have friends. Well, I think being older here, we can say that normally it gets better. uh,
Or maybe you will just completely have a different personality, and it's not even better. You just agree with it. So you regret it at the time, and then after you realize, oh no, that was me. That was me. Maybe that is who I am.
yeah, but look to with this kind of attitude, more positive, and laugh about yourself sometimes also.
But I think that we graze on the top of the topic of bullying, which is I think a really important topic, and it is really connected to identity and peer pressure, and like how to act in a situation when you feel like you are bullied or the others are bullied or you saw someone bullied. These are all really important questions on how to stop it, how to end this situation.
Many people say you should tell a teacher or tell someone, but in all honesty, not many teachers get it. They're just like, oh, with time it will pass, but as time passes and people bully you more, it becomes like an emotional trauma depending on what they're bullying you because they're like very important things. People really shouldn't bully others because that's just their personality, that's just them, and there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, one thing that you said before, when some of your colleagues were saying negative things about some other friends, your peers in school, you said, no, don't say that. So
Yeah.
one of the things that we can do when we notice is, or when some of our colleagues, sorry, I'm always saying colleagues, this is another age here. Um, some of our friends are saying something negative, we should not be quiet about it. So we should
Yeah.
always say, no, don't do that, because the person may will feel bad with it. And if we see it, I think we should act. Because when we don't do nothing, it's like if we are agreeing with it, with what was happening, and of course tell to other people, because this is a very important issue, and it can lead to really serious psychological problems for the person that is suffering this kind of aggression, because that's what it is.
Yes, and I think everyone was in a situation when they were bullied. I
Yeah.
never anyone, but the most important thing is you don't always notice when you are the bully, when
Yeah.
you are doing something. So that is something that I think people should be more conscious about. Like I reflect a lot on what I've done and how I behave in certain situations, and sometimes I regret to say that I do notice that, oh, I was bullied in that situation, which is horrible because I was bullied. I know what it feels like. I know it didn't have much of an effect on me because I didn't care what they said. But sometimes I notice that, oh yeah, okay, so I am one. So what can I do to stop it? How can I not behave in this way? This is, I think, the most important thing to know. Like how can you stop yourself?
Well, I mean, for me, before I say something, it takes me. Some people say, "Why do you answer so slowly?" Because I like to think what I'm going to say, and before I say it, I make sure it's not something that will offend the person. Even though, like, there was this thing we were not arguing, but talking about something, and our opinions clashed on it. Even though I think mine was right, but I didn't tell them it was that their opinion was wrong. I just told them we see it in different ways. And many people would say, "Oh, you're stupid. Oh, you don't get it." But that's really not needed.
I I I was also in the same situation as you, Kinga. I was bullied, and I was also a bully. Uh, and I remember that when I got conscious about it, because when you do it, you don't notice it, or it's just, oh yeah, I'm cool and I can do whatever I want or something like that. But when I notice it, uh, I remember I went to the person and I apologize for my behavior. Um, and I think, as you said, if we reflect and we try to think about our actions and how they may affect people, and to understand that people are different, and maybe some people don't, maybe we would find, oh no, for it's fine, I'm just joking, or he will not be, or she will not be offended, or it doesn't matter because it's nothing special. Maybe let's or put ourselves in the other position, or think that people are different, and maybe if I was in that position I would not take it so easily, and maybe if I'm a different person I could be offended or affected by it. So I think it's important for us to reflect on our actions in this way.
Yes, and one thing that I noticed is I regret to say that there are a lot of bullying going on within families. and
Exactly.
and most people, they don't realize the importance of this bullying going on. Like, is most people just feel like, as Cressy said, that they feel like, oh, it's an advice, I'm just giving advice. But when it's about, like, oh, you're fat, you should eat less, that's not an advice. That is something horrible going on.
I've
But it
actually
could be the
gotten
other
this
other
before.
way. Yeah, but it could be the other way. You're too thin, you need to eat.
Yeah, but to me, it was like I don't remember who exactly said it, but I was like little and I was training rhythmic gymnastics at the time. And when you're training, you have to be so slim. Like if someone just touches you, you can fall apart basically. And I heard you're fat, you have to lose weight. And at that time, I was just looking at myself like, why? Just why should I lose weight? And then, to be honest, when I left this sport, I felt much better about myself because, like, I don't care what they think about me. I'm just feeling better without them.
Yeah, this is a really, really important thing within a family. It happened to me also, and I remember, and I was really, really little, but I still remember the person of my family that was saying that I was too slim or something like that. And it's all about the way. Okay, imagine if the person is obese and you are concerned with their health issues or some kind of disease that may come. You can advise in another way, not in the if you say it in the way that Kinga that you were saying. Come on, that's not a big advice, and it's offensive.
And also, like, that if that person is obese, they probably know. They
Yeah.
probably they either searching for the will to change that, and it's not going to help if you point out that they are fat. You need to point out that, oh, you got a really good haircut today, or something positive about them, so they feel better about themselves and they can change. Like if you try to battle negativity with negativity, it's not going to work like in physics. It's not going to turn into positivity. It's just going to stay negative and build up in that person.
Yeah, I have this one friend. She actually wanted to listen to this, but she's in school sadly. And she's slim, and many people tell her, "Oh, you're so slim, you should gain some weight." And when I see people telling her that, I just think about, no, just don't tell her that because she knows. She just knows
Exactly.
she's slim, but sometimes people can't gain weight because they have fast metabolism or some health problems or something, and it actually damages their confidence. So I always tell her, "Oh, I love your hair. I love short hair. Just keep your hair this way. It's amazing," and she's really happy.
Yeah, the I think that's the main thing is if we can say something positive. This will build more self-esteem in the person, more self-confidence, and with self-esteem and self-confidence, the person are more able to be more active and pursue their own way. And this is like it's something that influences in all the different parts of your life, and even with this question of peer pressure, the person is more strong to say no. The person is more strong to keep their own views, to follow their views. So there is a really interesting experiment, and maybe it's a good idea if you want to do it in your school. I watched some videos of these experiments in other schools. There was someone with a camera,
Yeah.
and they were asking people, "Oh, okay, come, I just want to, I'm doing just a social experiment, please." And they came to the camera, and the only thing that she was saying to them was, "You're beautiful." And she was recording the reactions.
I actually know this one. I've watched it like several times, and there are some people that actually look like they don't believe it, and some people that are like about to cry.
Yeah, because unfortunately, we are not used to receive positive or compliments,
Yeah.
and we should change this way. So, uh, well, I think now we need to end our discussion. You have any other question?
No, but I just have this comment. Let's just try to be more nice to others. It's hard. It's sometimes because sometimes you're moody, sometimes you just really don't want to deal with that person, but just try. Try to be like one little compliment, it goes a long way.
Yeah.
It goes and it comes a long way, because here I think we can say that positive with positive it come more positive. Okay. We hope you enjoyed our radio show today. As you know, this show is supported by the CEI, the Center of European Initiatives, and the Erasmus Plus program. And the next show will be on Thursday, and we will talk about food and different foods from different countries. So if you're a foodie, join us. And also, in the meanwhile, you can share some of the dishes from your country or recipes or anything, your favorite food, in the Facebook page, and join us on this discussion that will be very tasty. So next Tuesday at 3 p.m. Bulgarian time. So we will be waiting for you. Until then, please keep on being positive and nice to others.